Hey guys, what's up? So today's video is going to be about how reliable is the Subaru BRZ. So I've owned my BRZ for about 4 years and I have about 43,000 miles on this car, so I'm averaging around maybe like 10,000 a year. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the car and basically just tell you like how reliable this car is after owning it, and tell you like some of the problems I've encountered with the car and some other things I've seen. So I'm thinking about doing this video in basically like 3 parts. So the first part I'll basically do is like the engine of the car and basically like those parts of the car and how reliable those are, like the engine and the performance and all that, and like how the car performs and if that's reliable. And then the next part I'll do is like basically the exterior of the car, if there are any problems with like exterior features of the car that I've encountered over the years, and like problems with like paint or anything. And third is basically the interior, and see how the interior is holding up of the car after 4 years and everything, and see if there's any like damage to the leather or anything. And I'll just let you guys know what I find and basically like some problems I've encountered. This video is basically going to be for people who are thinking about buying a BRZ or an FRS and just want to know like if this car is going to be good for the long term or anything, and see like, and this is also going to be for people who like maybe have just bought the car and maybe they want to see like what they need to look out for and like see what they need to take care of, if anything, in the future of owning this car. Alright, so let's start with basically the performance of the car and the engine features. Alright guys, so after owning this car for about 4 years, I personally have not encountered, like, I've encountered almost no issues with the engine of this car. The engine for the BRZ is super reliable, especially like in my case it's super reliable. I haven't had any problems with it. It runs smoothly all the time. There was a couple of times in the early beginning of owning this car, whenever I tried to turn the car on, it would have like a sluggish start, like it'll like tick, it'll like and then it will turn on. But then I just went to the dealership and they said, oh, we'll fix that. It was like an update or something, they fixed it. I haven't had that issue since, so that was one issue, but after that issue I haven't had any problems. Another thing that all these cars will get, all FRSs, BRZs, everything, they always get crickets. After driving it for maybe like 4,000, 5,000 miles, the crickets start happening, and there's not really much you can do about it, but it doesn't really harm the performance or anything of the car. It's just like a cricket noise you hear in the car, or little crickets tripping, but that's not really an issue because it doesn't harm anything, it's just the noise. So basically all these cars will get that noise, and there's like a fix for it, but I've had my friend went to the dealership and got the fix for it, and then it just ends up coming back again anyway. So that's another issue that you might encounter, but it's not a big deal because it doesn't do anything, it doesn't harm anything for the car. One problem I did have with this car that was kind of like a major issue is with the battery. So about a year ago, when I tried to turn my car on, it didn't work because the battery was dead. So I had to go, I got jump started from my friend. I went to basically the AutoZone, they checked my battery, they're like, the battery's bad. So I had to get a new battery. So that's one issue, and that was my 3rd year of ownership. So if you guys are owning these cars, just look out for your batteries, just try to get it checked. Maybe if you're like your warranty for the car is about to end, just check your battery before, and if it's like comes out as bad, you can go to the dealership, get a new battery for free and not have to pay like for me. But another issue I had basically like really recently is the new battery I got started like leaking acid like on the battery, so then I had to go and clean that up and everything. So check out, keep a lookout for the batteries of these cars, because I've had an issue with the battery twice already, and it's not really the car's fault, but just keep a lookout for these batteries because sometimes they're not the best. Just to show you guys where the battery leaked, you can see like right here, the battery already like ate up some of this metal already, but I got that cleaned off and everything. But just make sure you look out for the battery and just see if you need to get it replaced. You can get a free like battery check at AutoZone, and they'll just check your battery, and then if it's bad, you can get it replaced if you're under warranty, and if not, then you can just buy a new one. So other than that issue with the battery, the crickets, and basically the sluggish start, I haven't had any issues with like any part of the engine with this car. I still feel like the engine's reliable and everything, and if you guys have any issues, you can always just go to the dealership or something and get it checked on. But other than that, I think these car engines are really good. I haven't had any other problems with it, so I think the engine's really reliable. So if you're looking to buy a car, I don't think you should worry that much about the engine. Alright, next let's talk about basically the exterior of the car and the problems I've encountered with that. Alright, so if you have one of the older models of the BRZs, I'm not really sure. I think they fixed it for the newer ones, especially the 2017, but basically all the old ones, the taillights would always get condensation. Like all the taillights would get condensations in them. So that's one like major issue that basically all these cars have. Like if you get it, you'll probably run into this issue at least once or twice, and that's condensation in the taillights. And this issue was so big that Subaru stopped giving out like new taillights. Like when this issue was prominent during mine, when I had the car, like when I was under warranty, I could get a new taillight for free. But this issue became so prominent that Subaru would just decide to stop giving out taillights because they were losing too much money, because every taillight would just get condensation over and over again. So if you get these cars, just be on the lookout for condensation. An easy fix to this is just to get an aftermarket taillight, because usually aftermarket taillights like don't have this issue. But it's not really a big issue because it's just condensation, but it is an issue that comes up often for these cars, so just be on the lookout for that. All right, another issue, this is not really an issue, but I felt like I should tell you guys about, is basically, I think it's the paint and basically the front bumper of this car. There's just an issue with the bumper. I don't know if it's the paint's too thin or something, but this car is really prone to like rock chips and stuff. Like my mom's car, the PT Cruiser, and my dad's like old Range Rover, like I look at their cars and like you can barely see any like rock chips or anything, but for this car it's super noticeable. And I don't know if it's the paint or something, but it's just really noticeable, and I'll show you guys right now. But I was just driving it for 3 or 4 years, like you can just see a bunch of rock chips, and that's not just from over 3 or 4 years worth. This is like after even a year, like you can still see a bunch of rock, like there's still like a lot of noticeable rock chips. And I've seen other people on YouTube also complain about this, and it's not really a big issue, but it is an issue because you'll probably drive in the car after a year or something and you just see a bunch of rock chips. So just to let you know that your front bumper is basically just going to get destroyed by rock chips and stuff, especially if you're in an area with a lot of like debris and stuff like when you're driving. But yeah, I'll show you guys my front bumper. It's not too bad. You can always like wax your car and like it'll buff out and stuff, but it is annoying. And yeah, basically my front bumper's just full of rock chips and stuff. But yeah, let me show you guys. I have a few chips all over the car. Here's a really big one. You guys can definitely see this one. But I have like a bunch of them all over this car. Like here, all over. I have another big one on this side as well. I have a couple ones over here. But yeah, it's just really prone to rock chips. So if you guys are looking into this car, just to give you a fair warning that your front bumper is probably gonna have a bunch of chips in it. Also, one more thing I want to tell you guys about the front bumper. So this is like an issue I think most of these cars have, because I've had some other people with this issue as well. But if you take off the front bumper of this car for like maybe you're working on it or something, and after you take it off a couple of times, it starts losing its like basically like ability to like go back into place. So if you look right here, like you see I have like this big like gap right here, and this is from basically just taking the front bumper on and off a couple of times. And on the other side it's not really as bad. But yeah, basically when you like if you often take off the front bumper, usually it won't be able to put back into place, and then it's just these cars for some reason. Like I've had a guy, he bought those, like they're like these two things you can buy. It's basically just holds the front bumper, and he had to get aftermarket because he took off his front bumper so much. But if you guys are ever like working on your car and you have to take off your front bumper, be careful, because the front bumper is susceptible to like not being able to like go back into place as well as it was the first time. It's just a weird fitment thing that goes on with the front bumper. So that's another issue that happens with these cars. All right guys, so another thing I wanted to warn you guys about is there's this piece right here on top of the car, on top of the roof of the car, and it's like basically just this little plastic piece. It's basically just for design, but for this plastic piece, this is more on my passenger side, on the driver's side than the passenger side. But this plastic piece, like over time, it's just become a lot looser than usual. So on the passenger side, if I go over there and like there's barely any wiggle, but right here there's definitely more wiggle than usual. And then sometimes when I'm driving my car, you can hear like the wind like slide on this, and it just makes a lot of wind noise because this is moving around. So just a fair warning, this piece like over time does get like I don't know if it's held by glue. I know it's like there's like a little clip in here. It's like clipped in basically, but it's also, I think there's like some glue or something held in there, and I think over time it just loses its durability, and then it just becomes like it just starts moving around. And when you're driving, you can definitely hear like the wind pass over it, and it like moves. There might be an issue. It's not a big issue, but I'm just giving you guys a warning that this part does lose its like durability over time. But yeah, other than that, those are about all the exterior things I have to tell you guys about. The only main issue is really the taillights. So if you guys have an older model, those taillights are definitely going to get condensation, but if you guys want, you can just buy aftermarket lights. And then the front bumper is basically going to get destroyed if you guys drive it a lot, because of those rock chips, and it's really susceptible to that. But other than that, the exterior of the car, I feel like is really durable, and they're not having any issues. And so the last piece, let's talk about the interior. Alright guys, so for the interior of the BRZ, basically it's really good. Like, I haven't had any problems with any like leather cracking or anything, or like any sun damage, but there are some little small things that that can happen to your interior. So basically the interior of this car is basically just really susceptible to like small damage, like that you might even think, like if you accidentally like hit something too hard, like it might leave a mark or something. And let me just show you, because I have a couple of things like all over my car that are just really small, but you can tell, and it's just like really annoying. So let me show you this. So right here on the door handle, I have just little marks just from opening and closing it too much, and I have this mark right here because I guess I gripped it too hard and it just left a mark right here. So some of that stuff is really susceptible to like damage. And then right here also, these pieces, you can tell this a little bit is uneven. These pieces a lot like more like attached to this, and then this piece a little bit lifted up. So these leather pieces like do like over time like get like a lot less like tight. I guess they're held down by glue also, and then this glue just doesn't hold down as well. So over a year or so, over the years, like it does like not fit it like as flush as it used to be. Also over here on my passenger door, I also have another mark. There's a mark right here, if you guys can see that, just from I guess gripping onto the door. This plastic piece just like got a little crack on it. Right here on my passenger side, this piece right here has like a little scratch right there, just from people getting in and out, and I guess they hit it a little bit and it just scratched it. Lastly, right here behind the passenger seat, there's these little clips right here behind the chairs, and basically this clip just got destroyed from people getting in and out, and now it's just out of place. And it's just a really small clip, it doesn't do much, but that also got messed up just from people getting in and out of it, like on like basically a normal or daily basis. But other than that, the interior of the car is fine. It just, if you own this car or thinking about getting it, just be careful like when people are getting in and out of it a lot or anything, because if they like hit something really hard or anything, it'll probably leave a mark, and it'll just like maybe you'll like scratch it or something. So the interior is really prone to like scratches and stuff, and basically like really small things if people aren't careful with it. So the interior, other than that, like no, there hasn't been any damage to the leather or anything, like through sun or anything, no sun damage or anything. It's just usually the most of the damage from the interior is just from people like being like not careful when they're getting in and out of the car, and like they accidentally like hit something. So the interior is susceptible to like small damage like that. But yeah, other than those few issues, I think the major ones were basically the tail lights, my battery, and some small interior damage. But after 4 years of owning the car, I feel like some of those issues are like really possible. But after owning this car for 4 years, I haven't had any other issues. All these issues I basically gave you are really minor issues that aren't like really big. Like there hasn't been any engine failure, there hasn't been anything else. It's just really small things. Like you're gonna get all this other stuff that I've mentioned basically just from norming any other car over the years. So for my review, the BRZ is very reliable, and I do recommend it to anybody. So if you're looking for a reliable car that'll last you a pretty long time, I think this is a good car. And I'll let you guys know if I face any other issues with this car in the future, but I don't think I'll face many issues because it just feels like a really good car. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you think. If any of you guys have encountered any other issues with your BRZs, let me know. And yeah, all right, thanks for watching. Bye.